Hello students, today we are dealing with current electricity, which is Maharashtra State Board Physics chapter 9. In this chapter, different topics are discussed, but we are today focusing only on Kirchhoff's laws. In 11th standard, we were discussing with simple electrical circuits. There you have studied series combination of resistances, parallel combination of resistances, and to find the effective resistances. Using these, we are able to solve only simple electrical circuits, which is shown on the left side of the diagram. You can see when we go take up complex electrical circuits, further laws will be needed to solve the electrical circuit. So, we are introducing, or Kirchhoff introduced, a law that is called as Kirchhoff's laws. So, before going to Kirchhoff's laws, we have to understand few terms used in a complex electrical circuits. The first one is junction. Now, what is a junction? Any point in an electrical circuit where two or more conductors are joined together is a junction. So, see the diagram. And in this, you can see the highlighted areas B and E. These are the two junctions in the electrical circuit that you are seeing in the diagram. Next, the next definition comes about loop. Loop. What is a loop? Any closed conducting path in an electrical network is called a loop. Now you can see the diagram. In this, see the loop which is starting from junction B. It is moving in the direction B, A, F, E, B. That forms one loop. Now you can see the second loop, which is starting from B, moving in the direction B, C, D, E, F. Now here we have seen a loop in the direction B. B, A, F, E, B and B, C, D, E, B. But you can take the loop in the reverse direction also, which is B, E, F, A, B also. And the other loop, that is B, C, D, E, B, can be also taken in the reverse order, that is B, E, D, C, B. Now the next term that we have to understand, see the loop moving B, C, D, E. Now the next term that we see here is branch. What is a branch? Branch is any part of the network between two junctions. So we will see what is that. So see here the junction B and you can see junction E. So the branch is any part between two junctions. So B is a junction, E is a junction. So the part between B and E is, you can see it is BAFE. This is one branch. Now the second branch, you can see it is BCDE. That is second branch. And the third branch is from B to E. Now this branches I have taken or started from B and ended in E. These branches can be taken in the reverse order also. That is, you will start from E and go back to B. So the branch will be EFAB and EDCB and EB. So the reverse order also the branches can be considered. Any direction you can take as you wish. It is not compulsory that the same order has to be followed. Okay, it is the part of the circuit between two junctions. Okay. Now we proceed towards Kirchhoff's first law, or this is also called as current law and it is also called as junction law. So what is the statement? It states that in an electrical network, the algebraic sum of the currents at a junction is 0, or mathematically the statement can be written as sigma I ranging from 1 to n of II is equal to 0, where II is the current in the ith conductor at a junction having n conductors. And this law is in accordance with conservation of charge. Now, if we are considering the 12th standard board exams, this question can be asked as an MCQ, that is, the first law is related to conservation of charge, and these laws are also favorite questions of board question setters. Now we will try to understand what is the sign convention used in Kirchhoff's first law. So you can see a junction P in the diagram. You just watch the diagram. You can see currents coming to the junction, current leaving the junction, and you can see the blue lines current is coming to the junction and the red lines current is leaving the junction. So you can see I1, I2 and I4 current is coming to the junction, and you can see I3 and I5 current is leaving the junction. So according to the sign convention, it says that the currents arriving at a junction are positive and currents leaving the junction are negative. So you can see I1, I2 and I4 will be positive and I3 and I5 will be negative. So taking the sign conventions, we can write I1 plus I2 minus I3 plus I4 minus I5 is equal to 0. Or it can be taking all the negative to the right hand side, you will get the equation I1 plus I2 plus I4 will be equal to I3 plus I5. So the total currents flowing towards the junction is equal to the total current flowing away from the junction. See, this can be compared to a traffic junction where the vehicles are coming to the junction and leaving the junction. No vehicle will stand at the junction. So it can be compared that way. The vehicles entering will be leaving the junction. That means the current entering the junction should leave the junction. So the sum of the currents entering will be equal to the sum of the currents leaving the junction. So we will try to solve one problem based on what we have studied in Kirchhoff's first law. Okay, so using Kirchhoff's first law, we will try to solve the sum that is given. Following shows the currents in the parts of the electrical circuit and we are supposed to find the value of X. So you can see, so if we are considering the junction B, here you can see the direction of current I1, it is coming to the junction. And you can see the current I2 is leaving the junction. Current I3 also leaving the junction. So I1 has to be positive, I2 and I3 has to be negative. So what will be the equation according to Kirchhoff's first law? I1 minus I2 minus I3 is equal to 0. So that equation can be also written as I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. So 17 is the value of I1 and 3 is the value of I2. So you will get 17 is equal to 3 plus I3. So substituting the values, we will get I3 is equal to 17 minus 3, that is equal to 14 amperes. So now proceeding towards, so please wait for a second, let me take the pointer. See, if you see the pointer at junction C. Now the junction C, you can see what is the current that is coming to the junction is I3, and I4, what is happening to it? I4 is also coming to the junction, and you can see I5 is leaving the junction. So I3 will be positive, I4 will be positive, and I5 will be negative. So the junction. At junction C, the equation will be I3 plus I4 minus I5 is equal to 0. So here we are using Kirchhoff's first law sign conventions and we are getting this equation. Now you can see the equation can be negative term is taken to the right hand side. So you will get I5 is equal to I3 plus I4, or I5 will be equal to 14 plus 2 because we have got the value of I3 as 14 amperes and I4 is already given as 2 amperes. So the total comes out to be 16 amperes. Now we will proceed towards the next junction, that is junction D. Now note the junction D. What is the current coming in? That is I5. So I5 has to be positive and I6 and I7 are leaving. And we are supposed to find out what is I6. So at junction D, we will write the equation I5 minus I6 minus I7 is equal to 0. Now if we solve this equation, what we will get? I5 is equal to I6 plus I7. Therefore, we have got I5 equal to 16. I6 we have to find out and 9 is the value of I7 which is given. So from which you will get I6 is equal to 7 amperes, which is the value of X which we are supposed to find out. Hope you have understood the problem well. Now we will proceed to the next slide, that is dealing with Kirchhoff's second law, which is also called as voltage law, or in short we can write it as KVL, that is Kirchhoff's voltage law. And the statement of the law is the algebraic sum of the potential differences and the EMFs in a closed loop is 0. What is potential differences? It is the product of the current and the resistance. So mathematically, the statement can be written as sigma IR plus sigma E is equal to 0. Sigma IR represents the total of the potential differences and sigma E represents the total of the EMFs. So total potential difference plus total EMF is equal to 0. So this is in accordance with the conservation of energy. That is, Kirchhoff's second law is in accordance with conservation of energy. So this point also you keep in mind. This can be asked for an MCQ question. Second Kirchhoff's law is dealing with conservation of energy. Now we will see the sign conventions. In this slide, we will explain the sign conventions in detail. See, when we are solving a circuit, we have to take loops. Different loops are taken and we will explain the loops and we will be solving the circuit. So the sign conventions are considering the direction of the loop and the direction of the current. So these 2 points are to be taken care while understanding the sign conventions. Now you can see here the first diagram. Here you can see the cell and this red arrow shows the direction in which we are taking the loop. So if the loop direction and the direction in which the loop is taken is moving from the negative terminal to the positive terminal, then the EMF E will be taken as positive. Now here in the second diagram you can see EMF of the cell is considered negative. Under what condition? The direction of the loop is moving from the positive terminal of the cell to the negative terminal. Then you will see E is taken as negative. This can be understood in another way also, that is, you are moving from negative terminal to the positive terminal means that you are moving from a lower potential point to a higher potential point. Then E is positive. And in the second diagram, you can see you are moving from a higher potential point to a lower potential point in the direction of the loop, and therefore E is negative. Now coming to the direction of the potential differences. Fall of potential takes place across a resistor. And so here we will see the second diagram first. Why? Because here the directions both are the same. See, this lower arrow shows the direction of the loop, and this arrow shows the direction of the current in the circuit. So here you can see the direction of the current and the direction of the loop when it is passing through this resistance is the same. They are both in the same direction. So the fall of potential across this resistor, which is I into R, will be negative because it is moving in the same direction. Both are in the same direction, loop direction and the direction of current. You know that conventional direction of current is always from a positive terminal to the negative terminal of the cell, which means that it is moving from a higher potential point to a lower potential point. So this is negative. So minus IR is the potential difference across this resistor. Now see this diagram. In this diagram, the loop is moving in this direction and the direction of current is opposite to that. That means the conventional direction of current is opposite to the direction in which the loop is taken. Conventional direction of current is from positive to negative. That means it is moving from a higher potential to lower potential. So, or the direction of loop is in the same direction as it is moving from lower potential to higher potential. So it must be positive. Or you can say, you simply understand this way. If the conventional direction of current and the direction of loop are in the opposite, then the potential difference is positive. If both the directions are the same, then it is taken as negative. Hope you have understood that. Then we will proceed towards the next slide. We will try to understand how to apply the sign conventions. So here we are taking a loop starting from A, moving towards B to F, G and A. So this forms one loop, A, B, F, G, A. This is a loop. As we have previously seen how loops start from one point and end at the same point. So this is a loop A, B, F, G, A. Now, applying Kirchhoff's law, second law, sign conventions are applied here. So what you will get? See here, this arrow shows the direction of the current and this shows the direction of the loop. Here what is the direction? Both are in the same direction. Both are in the same direction means that the potential drop across that resistor has to be negative. So minus I1 R1 will be the potential drop across resistance R1. Now the next branch, that is the resistance R5. Now here the loop direction is in this direction and the conventional current direction is also in the same direction. Therefore, the potential drop across R5 will be negative. So which is minus I3 R5. You can see in the equation. Now moving towards G, you are moving through the resistor R3. So the potential fall across R3 will be I1 R3. What will be the sign? Both are having the same sign. Loop direction and current direction are the same. So it has to be negative. So you can see minus I1 R3. Now we are moving across the cell. When you are moving across the cell, here how is the movement? It is moving from negative to positive. So you can see it is moving from lower potential to higher potential. So E1 has to be positive. So the final equation will be minus I1 R1 minus I3 R5 minus I1 R3 plus E1 is equal to 0. You can rearrange the equation by taking all negative terms to the right hand side. You will get E1 is equal to I1R1 plus I3R5 plus I1R3. Now we will try to understand the sign conventions in the second loop. That is, we are considering the loop BFDCB. This is one loop that we are considering. Here you can see we are moving from B to F. Here again you can see the direction of current and the direction of the loop both are the same in the resistance R5. So the potential drop across resistance R5, which is I3R5, is negative. Now you can see the resistor R4. This is the next path. So you will see through resistance R4, the direction of current and the direction of the loop both are the same. So the potential drop across R4, that is I2 into R4, also must be negative. Now we are moving across the cell. Now across the cell, how is the direction taken? It is moving from negative to positive. It is moving from lower potential to higher potential. So the direction of E2 has to be positive. So you can see here E2 is taken as positive. Now the last resistance I2, R2, the current is I2. So the potential drop is I2R2. So you can see here again the direction of current and the direction of loop is the same. So again I2R2 also must be negative. So you will get this expression, that is minus I3R5 minus I2R4 minus I2R2 plus E2 is equal to 0. Again rearranging the terms, you will get E2 is equal to I3R5 plus I2R4 plus I2R2. Now we will try to solve one problem based on what we have studied, that is using both Kirchhoff's laws. So here you are given a circuit and it is asked to find out the current in each branch using Kirchhoff's laws. So we will try to understand, there are two cells here. This is having EMF 5 volt, E2 cell which is having an EMF 10 volt. You are having a resistor here which is 4 ohms through which a current I3 is passing. Another resistor 3 ohms through which current I2 is passing. Then you can see another resistor 4 ohms through which current I1 is moving. Now we will try to solve this. See, we are applying Kirchhoff's law at junction C. See, we have taken this junction. Here you can see current I3 is coming to the junction. And what is happening to I2? I2 is leaving the junction. See. And I1 is also leaving the junction. So if we are applying Kirchhoff's law here, what should be the equation? I3 minus I2 minus I1 must be equal to 0. And rearranging that equation, what you will get? I3 is positive. So I3 is equal to I1 plus I2. Now we will try to take the loop law or the second law, applying Kirchhoff's second law to the loop E, F, C, D, E. This is the loop that we are considering. So here we are moving from F. Starting from F, we are moving across the resistor 3 ohms first. So what is the potential difference across this resistor? It is I2 into 3 ohms. Okay, it is 3I2. Will it be positive or negative? Because here you can see the direction we are tracing the loop is in this direction, but the direction of current is opposite to that. So this must be positive. They are in opposite direction, means it is positive. And next branch, you can see here comes the resistance 4 ohms. Through resistance 4 ohms, you can see the current I1 is flowing. And here the direction of current and direction of loop both are the same. So the equation becomes minus 4I1 will be the potential drop across the resistor 4 ohm. And then we are moving across the cell to reach back to the loop. So here you can see E2 cell we are crossing from negative terminal to the positive terminal. So the EMF E2 has to be positive. So you can see in the equation it is 3I2 minus 4I1 plus 10 is equal to 0. And rearranging this equation you will get, that is, taking these two terms to the right hand side, you will get minus 3I2 plus 4I1 is equal to 10. And solving this again. Now here you can see in this equation 3I2 plus 4 into I3 minus I2. From where we have got this? See equation number 1. Here we have written I3 is equal to I1 plus I2. So from this equation, what will be I1? I1 will be equal to I3 minus I2, isn't it? So we are substituting that here for I1. So you will get minus 3I2 plus 4 into I3 minus I2 is equal to 10. Now again solving the equation you will get 4I3 and minus 3I2 minus 4I2. So this term will be minus 7I2 equal to 10. Now we take the second loop, that is F A B C F. F A B C F. This is the loop. Okay. The loop is clear. Now we are starting from F and moving in the upward direction. What about the direction of current? And what about the direction of the loop here? In 4 ohm resistance, both are the same. So it has to be negative. So you will see 4I3, that is minus 4I3. Why? Both the directions are the same. Now we are traversing through the cell. It is moving from negative to positive. So what should be the EMF? EMF has to be positive. So we will get plus 5. Then we are coming here and here we are crossing the resistance. Here again the direction of current, direction of loop, both are the same. So we have to take it as negative. So you will get it as minus 3I2. So you have got minus 4I3 plus 5 minus 3I2 is equal to 0. Now you can see here it is rearranging the terms. You will get 4I3 plus 3I2 is equal to 5. Now this equation 5 minus equation 4. You can see here 4I3, here 4I3. Equation 5 minus 4. So 4 minus 4, 0. So I3 term will be cancelled. Then here you have got 3I2 minus 7I2. So which comes to be 10I2. And minus 5 minus 10, which is minus 5 here. Or from this you will get the value of I2 to be equal to minus 0.5. So going further, and here we have got the value of I2. Now if we substitute the value of I2 in equation number 2, that is here, equation number 2 is here. Here I am substituting the value of I2, that is minus 0.5. So you will get minus 3 into minus 0.5 plus 4 into I1 is equal to 10. The next step you will get I1 will be equal to 2.12 amperes, solving that equation. Is that clear? Next step, you can see substituting the values of I1 and I2 in equation 1, which is the simplest, which is I3 will be equal to I1 plus I2. So we got the value of I1 is 2.12 and I2 is 0. minus 0.5. So adding these two you will get 1.62 amperes. So we have solved using Kirchhoff's first law. Here in the circuit we have used both the laws and we have solved the problem. Hope you have understood, and for today's session we are ending here, and thank you so much.